Tonight on NewsVision, we will tell you what one theater company is doing to raise awareness against gun violence.
Forget everything you ever thought you knew, because each story represents a different person, a different perspective.
Plus, we will introduce you to one South Florida educator that has been recognized for her great work in teaching middle school students.
They learn discipline. Music education is essential.
And later on, we will take you to the biggest NFL fundraising event in the country, right here in South Florida.
There is no better event in the world than the Dolphins Cancer Challenge.
All this and more on tonight's show, and it starts right now. Good evening and welcome to NewsVision. I'm Christopher Perez.
And I'm Lauren Harrington. Thank you for joining us.
A car crash over the weekend near Miami Beach has left one local Miami student dead.
Gabriela Rios Flores, a 19-year-old student at FIU, died at Jackson Memorial Hospital on Monday after being seriously injured in a car crash on the MacArthur Causeway.
Police say Flores' Jeep broke down on the road, and after an officer helped move it to the shoulder of the causeway, a driver in a Polestar crashed into her car at nearly 100 miles per hour. The impact of the crash threw Flores from the vehicle. Flores was an international student from El Salvador, studying communications at FIU.
The driver of the car that hit Flores, 24-year-old Nicholas Robinson, is held at the Metro West Detention Center on a $200,000 bond total for these two charges. Police say Robinson was under the influence and speeding and is now facing DUI and vehicular homicide charges. The city of Miami Beach is enforcing strict rules for this year's upcoming spring break. And in the promotion of these rules, the city is appealing to a younger audience, asking them to take a reality check. City officials released a reality TV-inspired video highlighting rules and urging spring breakers to take travel elsewhere. They say visitors should expect $100 parking curfews, a heavy police presence, security checkpoints, and DUI enforcement, all which will be strictly enforced.
According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Wonder database, in 2022, gun violence became the leading cause of death in children and teens in America. There have been numerous nationwide movements pushing for greater gun restrictions. Brian Matute explores what one theater company is doing to raise awareness against gun violence.
The topic of guns is one of the most heated ones in the United States. However, some are trying to turn that debate into a dialogue using the power of theater.
Arms Around America is an evening of 6 short plays based on the lives of families from around the country whose lives have been shaped in some way by guns.
Dan Fruit and his company have partnered with MDC Live Arts Miami and Miami Light Project to perform Arms Around America in MDC's North Campus.
When you hear this is going to be a piece about guns in America, you might think, oh, this is going to be really tough, this is going to be dark. When you see the plays, I think they're entertaining, I think they're loving, and that's because the people whose lives we base the plays on are all of those things.
It was sadness, it was happiness, it was confusion. I felt a bit of stress from everything. I felt a bit of relief.
And the people in the audience are not the only ones impacted by the plays.
It's overwhelming, to try to pick 6 stories, and there are so many, and that breaks my heart. My hope is that we're able to do so in a way that we also see the beauty in the people, and that's what the audience walks away with. The stories of the people and not the pain of guns and the things that it could do.
And while the 6 plays are different, one theme united them: the importance of finding a common middle ground amid a polarizing debate.
It's either, I need my gun, I want my gun, don't touch my gun, or boo your gun, I have an issue with your gun, right? And there's so much space in between.
For Dan and crew, it's not all about guns. It's about building a sense of community. A community where one day we can have our arms together as one. For UMTV, I'm Brian Matute.
Performance and music have also been used to raise awareness for other issues. This past weekend, Frost musicians and songwriters hosted a charity show to show support for greater reproductive access. On Saturday, Frost students and supporters gathered to perform and raise funds for the Florida Access Network. The network works to provide peer support, abortion funding, and reproductive health kits, regardless of the state's political values.
And I think that having things like this, where it's like, one, bringing awareness that there is ways to help out when you feel so stuck, is helpful for young people like us, because I know that there's a lot of girls out there who feel like there's just no solution.
Event organizers raised more than $2,000 and said there would be more charity events in the future. They are working to gain further support from the university. For more information, you can visit flaccessnetwork.org.